Why people start avoiding you after 70 and how to fix it before it's too late. Hello everyone. Today, I want to share with you a topic that not everyone wants to talk about, but is very important, especially as we get older. That is why people start avoiding you when you reach 70 and even before. And more importantly, how can you fix this before it becomes a big problem in your life? There must be times when you feel like the world is gradually turning its back on you. The phone calls are less frequent, the invitations to hang out are less frequent, and even, it feels like people around you don't seem to care about you as much as before. You may feel lonely, like you are being forgotten. But do you know, there are many reasons behind this, and more importantly, we can completely change and fix everything if we are proactive. Join me as we walk through the reasons why people start to distance themselves from you as you age and how we can make changes to preserve the precious relationships in our lives. Reason number 1, negative energy and complaining too much. Surely, every one of us has complained about something in life, and that's completely normal. But when complaining becomes a habit, and all your conversations revolve around negative things, it's not hard to realize that others will feel tired of being around you. Imagine being the person opposite, always having to hear about the never-ending problems, then you will understand why people gradually avoid you. I remember a time when I always felt dissatisfied with my job, my life, and my personal difficulties. Every time I met my friends, I started complaining. And gradually, I realized that they started calling me less, asking me out less, and our conversations were no longer as comfortable as before. This made me realize that when we constantly focus on the negative, we not only hurt ourselves but also the relationships around us. Science has also proven that when we complain too much, our brains will start to change, focusing on the negative more. This creates a habit, a loop in which negativity becomes a large part of your life and your relationships. But the important thing is, we can absolutely change. A small change in the way you look at life, from complaining to being grateful, from whining to sharing happy moments can change the way people see you. Try starting every conversation with a thank you, sharing a good memory, or even planning for a positive future. Make sure you're not just talking about what's past, but also about what's to come, to create a positive space for everyone in your life. Reason 2, resistance to change. One of the big reasons why our relationships with those around us fray as we age is our resistance to change. Unfortunately, some people, especially as they get older, tend to resist change, whether it's in technology or in society. And this is something that can create a huge gap, not just with the younger generation, but with everyone. A close friend of mine refuses to learn how to use a smartphone and feels alienated. She still prefers her old landline phone and refuses to try messaging apps or video calls. At first, she didn't feel the need to learn new things, but over time, we noticed that not changing was making her feel more isolated and even lost in an increasingly digital world. This doesn't mean you have to learn every new technology or follow the trends. But small changes like learning how to text, join a video call, or even just asking about current trends and events can help you feel more connected to the people around you. You don't have to love everything that's new, but being open to change will help you stay connected to people and avoid feeling lost. The world is constantly changing, and instead of fighting it, we should learn to embrace and use these changes to stay connected. As the philosophy of the Stoic thinkers taught, change is inevitable, and the only way to avoid being left behind is to learn to embrace it. Reason 3, overdependence on others. As we get older, it is natural to depend on family and friends. But if this dependence becomes a habit, and you become a person who only takes without giving, the relationship will gradually become strained. I have an elderly relative who always asks for help from the family, but rarely asks us. Sometimes she doesn't even realize that her overdependence makes us feel tired and uncomfortable when we see her. In a relationship, whether it is a friendship or a family relationship, giving and receiving is very important. If you only take and never give, the other person will feel that they are being taken advantage of. This can cause them to gradually distance themselves from you. A simple way to maintain balance in a relationship is to learn to share and give. You can start with small actions like asking about other people's lives, sharing funny stories, or even helping them with small things. This not only helps you maintain connections but also shows others that you are not a burden, but a valuable friend and relative. Reason 4. Neglecting personal hygiene and appearance. This may sound harsh, but in fact, neglecting yourself can affect your relationships with others. When you do not take care of yourself, others may feel that you no longer care about yourself, and therefore, will feel less comfortable communicating with you. I have witnessed such a case where a family member stopped taking care of himself, no longer paying attention to personal hygiene and appearance. At first, I did not think this had a big impact, but after a while, I realized that people around me started to stay away. Taking care of yourself is not just a matter of aesthetics, but a way to show respect for yourself and those around you. When you take the time to care for yourself, from personal hygiene to dressing properly, you will feel more confident and others will feel more comfortable around you. Don't forget that taking care of yourself is a way to show respect for the relationships around you. Reason number 5, only talk about the past. Talking about past memories and experiences is great, but if you only talk about the past without paying attention to the present or the future, you will easily feel isolated from others. I have an older friend who loves to tell stories about her youth. Although her stories are interesting and valuable, when she only talks about the past, I feel like she is no longer interested in my current life. This makes our conversations disconnected and uninteresting. The important thing is that when you share about the past, find a way to connect it to the present and the future. Ask about other people's lives, share future plans, and always keep the conversation lively. When you know how to maintain a balance between the past, present, and future, you will never feel isolated from those around you. Reason number 6, isolating yourself too much. One of the biggest mistakes we make as we age is to isolate ourselves from society. When you start withdrawing from social activities and turning down invitations, you start to feel lonely. In fact, older people who live alone are at a higher risk of depression and loneliness than those who maintain active social relationships. I once saw my grandmother start to decline appointments and meetings with friends. At first, she felt comfortable being alone, but then she felt lonely and sad. So remember, even small activities like attending a family gathering or a gathering of friends can help you maintain relationships and avoid loneliness. Reason 7, not expressing gratitude. Finally, one of the most important elements in any relationship is gratitude. Remember that everyone wants to feel appreciated and valued. A sincere thank you, no matter how small, can strengthen your relationship. A friend of mine, whenever she receives help, always expresses sincere gratitude. This makes people around her love her and want to help her even more. We should never forget to express gratitude to our loved ones. A thank you is never too much, and it helps us build better and more lasting relationships. Life is always changing and we can't always control everything. But the little things we do every day, from how we look at life, changing our habits, taking care of ourselves, to expressing gratitude, can make a big difference in our relationships. If you feel like people are drifting away from you, don't worry too much. You can change everything from the smallest things. Try changing your habit of complaining, accepting change, maintaining a balanced relationship, taking care of yourself, and most importantly, always expressing gratitude. You will definitely see the difference in your relationships. Thank you for listening. If you find this message useful, don't forget to share it with people you think need to hear it too. And if you find this video valuable, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to start my journey to building a more connected and fulfilling life.